There's a lot of barriers in our life to experiencing the love that we want to experience and to feeling the love that is actually available to us right now that we miss out on. One of the ways that we miss out on that is we're all afraid that it's going to go away. We're all afraid that when we experience something really connecting, really loving, really full, almost immediately the next thing that happens is, how long is this going to last? Or how can I find a way to make this stay forever? Or how can I hold on to this? It haunts all of us in some way and comes in between us and the ones we love. There's a process that I have moved through myself, and I call it pre-grieving. I don't know if that term's been used before, but it's a term that came to my mind when I experienced this barrier very consciously and knew that this barrier was happening and decided to do something about it. And I want to tell you about that. I got my very first puppy some years back, 2-3 years back, and his name is Halo. And Halo is such a wonderful dog, such a wonderful puppy, brought so much joy to my heart. And it was a very special dog because it was my first one I ever bought. And I bought it with my former fiance, who was also very special to me. And this puppy touched my heart so completely, so much. I hugged this puppy and my heart just melted, turned into liquid, and he just had me. And it was such a wonderful feeling. But I also noticed that at the same time, this fear crept in, and I was wondering, oh my gosh, I'm probably going to outlive this puppy. I don't know if I want to bear losing this connection. I don't know if I can bear losing this dog. And it started bugging me, and I could notice it started coming in between me and my love with the puppy and my connection and my full embrace and my full enjoyment of this puppy. And I started having these fears and these images of taking the dog to the vet, and when the dog could be like 15 years old, and I just saw myself taking the dog there and having to say goodbye for the last time. And it was so painful, and it kind of started tormenting me, actually, because I just fell in love with this puppy. It just had my heart. So based on all the training that I've had about telling the truth and feeling feelings and letting these emotions, don't resist them and move through them, I've had the hint and that I should be applying that to this too. That I can't avoid the inevitable. That I'm going to have to say goodbye to everything in my life eventually. The people I love, the things I love, everything goes away. Everything that you get, you have to let go of at some time. It's just something we have to face. And I allowed myself to feel these feelings of grief and loss as if I was having to say goodbye to the puppy. And I went into imagining, just fully embracing the images that were coming to my mind and fully imagining saying goodbye to this puppy. And imagining myself being at the vet. Imagining seeing the puppy maybe sick and laying on the bed and or laying on the vet's table and petting it and looking into its face and having to say goodbye for the very last time. Really putting myself there and really feeling the heartbreak, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart, and I had a face full of tears because I really put myself there and I really wanted to not resist these feelings, because I know that what I feel I can let go of. I've learned that through all my process, and I really put myself in there. And this happened a couple of times. It didn't just happen all in one session. But sometimes I'd be driving and a song would come on the radio, and maybe it would remind me of loss or of love. And then this image of losing this dog would come into my mind. So instead of resisting it and trying to put it out of my mind, which I know now is futile, what you resist persists, right? And if you try to take a feeling and emotion, shove it back, it's always going to keep affecting our life in some way by resisting what is coming up to be felt, what is coming up in the moment to be seen. And so I would just allow myself to feel whatever was available to feel when that song would play, or when I would look at my puppy do a certain thing. I'd throw the ball and he would catch it and maybe do a new trick, or maybe bark in a certain way, and my heart would just adore him, and then simultaneously my heart would break, with this fear of loss. And it didn't take very long, but a couple of times of fully embracing this, and then maybe a couple more times where there was some residual left over, it didn't take that long to actually move through the feelings and let go of this fear of loss. And what happened as a result is that I could more fully enjoy the connection with the puppy. I could more fully enjoy my relationship with that dog, because this invisible, unconscious, and somewhat conscious wall was removed. It would just broke apart and disappeared, because I faced the reality that I'm going to have to let go of this puppy someday. Now, I've also, once I had that experience of feeling a total full love for this dog without the fear of loss, because I'd already grieved the loss, I'd pre-grieved the loss, I then thought, I think this will work for my personal relationships too. So I started using it in my personal relationships as well. I got in a new relationship about a year ago, and really fell very deeply in love with this person, and that person really affected my heart, and really was touched. And but also, again, okay, here's this love, and it's going to leave someday, or it's going to go away someday, or they're not going to behave in a way that's going to make me feel good, and then I'm going to feel loss, or I'm going to feel some kind of emptiness, right? And everyone can relate to this. I think that we get into relationships and we expect them to fulfill our hearts. We expect them to behave in a way that's going to make us feel good. And of course, the one thing you can count on in life is that humans will be humans. And they're not going to act the exact right way to make us feel good all the time. In fact,